Everyone thinks they know Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A potion, a monster, and a good man split cleanly in two. The stranger truth is that the whole story arrived in a dream, and Stevenson said the moral was his, but the potion came from the dream itself. When his wife woke him from the nightmare, his recorded complaint was that he had been dreaming a fine bogey tale. Published in January 1886, the little novella was an instant success, and its title passed straight into the language. And the text itself refuses the clean split everyone quotes, which makes it the perfect first case for this series. The plot arrives backwards, through witnesses, starting with a lawyer called Mr. Utterson and his kinsman on their weekly walk through London. The kinsman, Enfield, describes a man who trampled a small girl at night and then paid off her family with a check signed by a respected doctor. What frightens Utterson is the name on that check, because the respected doctor is his friend and client, Dr. Jekyll. He goes to Jekyll's will and finds the real alarm. Everything is left to a man called Edward Hyde on Jekyll's death, or on his disappearance. That single word, disappearance, is the hook that haunts the book, because from then on, Hyde keeps appearing while Jekyll keeps fading. Every witness describes Hyde the same way, a feeling of deformity that nobody can name, a displeasing smile, a husky and whispering voice. Hyde bludgeons a kindly old man to death with a cane, in what a witness calls ape-like fury. Jekyll swears the connection is ended, and shows Utterson a letter from Hyde, which a clerk proves was written in Jekyll's own hand. A friend of both men, Dr. Lanyon, sees the transformation with his own eyes, and dies of shock, leaving a sealed narrative behind. That narrative describes a man seeming to swell, his face suddenly black, the features seeming to melt and to alter. And then comes Jekyll's own full statement, the chapter that turns a horror story into a confession about the structure of a human being. Jekyll writes that he had long believed man is not truly one, but truly two, a mere polity of multifarious and independent denizens. And in the mirror, Jekyll says, Hyde's face seemed more express and single than the divided countenance he was used to calling his own. Now the reading this series exists for, and notice the dates first. Stevenson published in 1886, and Freud published his structural model in 1923. That structural model divides the mind into three parts: the ID, the ego, and the superego, three agencies with three different jobs. The textbook mapping is almost too clean. Hyde is the ID, pure appetite, Jekyll is the ego trying to mediate, and Utterson is the superego, the voice of conscience and law. And the text resists that clean mapping, which is exactly why we present it as an illustration, never as the explanation of the story. Hyde can plan and scheme and fight for his own survival, which the ID, as Freud described, it cannot do, and Jekyll engineers the separation on purpose, which is not how repression works. What the story dramatizes directly is repression made literal, Jekyll's daydream of cutting off everything unacceptable and letting it live somewhere else. And it dramatizes the return of the repressed in one sentence that could sit in a textbook. Cast it off, and it returns upon us with more unfamiliar and more awful pressure. That sentence is the thesis of this entire series, and it was written by a novelist 37 years before the psychoanalysts had a name for it. Then the compromise formation. The potion is the ego's attempt to live both lives at once, the respectable one and the secret one, without paying for either. And the sublimation failure. Jekyll calls his pleasures undignified, and Stevenson never tells us what they were, and that vagueness is a deliberate choice. The respectable self allows those drives no outlet at all, and the denied part does not vanish, it organizes, and it grows stronger as Jekyll grows sicklier. The barrier erodes. The transformations turn involuntary, and Jekyll begins waking up as Hyde without having meant to. Even the memory barrier fails only late, when Jekyll stops writing I and starts writing he, the text drifting toward dissociation as the condition worsens. So the arc is the ego stopping its job, and the result is not liberation, it is takeover. The keys handed to the part the person disowned. Now the honest science, because the mechanisms in this story are real, even though the story is not a clinical case study. Dissociation is real and trauma-linked, and psychiatrists have genuinely debated whether this novel helped or hurt public understanding of it. But the story is not dissociative identity disorder. There is no amnesia at first, and the change is chemical, not born of trauma. The addiction reading is a genuine scholarly tradition, mapping tolerance, loss of control, and use despite harm onto Jekyll's arc. But the potion is not a drug. No substance is ever named. The mechanism is occult chemistry and an impure salt, and Stevenson's own account says the powders came from his dream. And modern psychology has plain words for the switch the story dramatizes, like moral disengagement, the ability to set one's own standards aside in a separate frame of mind. None of that makes Stevenson a secret psychoanalyst. It means fiction reached the territory first, which is why this series reads stories at all. And now the honesty rule that every episode of this series obeys, stated out loud, because it matters most in a story like this one. Rule 1. We never diagnose. The frame is what this theory illuminates in the story, never the claim that Stevenson or anyone else had a condition. Rule 2. The circularity risk, because a story can always be made to fit a theory. And this one proves repression to a Freudian, addiction to an addiction reader, and dissociation to a trauma theorist. 3 confident diagnoses from one text is exactly where the falsifiability critique bites, and the anachronism is the giveaway. The fit is retrospective, which is interesting, and it is not evidence. And note that Freud himself never wrote about Jekyll and Hyde. No comment of his has ever surfaced. The entire reading is retrospective. The great novelist Vladimir Nabokov rejected this simple good versus evil allegory as tasteless and childish, and read Hyde as a concentrate of pure evil projected from within a mixed and hypocritical Jekyll. Even the book's own origin story is partly disputed. The story goes that Stevenson burned his first draft, but scholars say there is no direct evidence the burning happened. And the popular claim that he wrote it on a cocaine binge is romanticized. He was seriously ill and medicated. The accounts differ, and no direct evidence exists. 2 honest readings of the novella have competed for a century, the repression reading and the satire on Victorian respectability, and the text genuinely supports both, which is itself the point. What survives the scrutiny is the mechanism. The part of a person that is denied and disowned does not disappear. It returns, and it returns harder the harder it was suppressed. So here is the whole series thesis in one line, written in 1886. Cast it off, and it returns upon us with more unfamiliar and more awful pressure. The potion that stops the ego does not free the person. It hands the keys to the part they disowned, and that is true with or without any potion at all. This week, notice one part of yourself that you have pushed away and get curious about whether it is really gone or simply waiting. That is the honest version of Jekyll and Hyde. A dream, a potion, and a sentence from 1886 that named a mechanism decades before psychology did.